she's been grumbling at this. It's flapping in the wind. And she's not sure what's going on. So what I've done is I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to touch it. I'm not going to make her go near it. I'm not going to try and convince her to. I'm just going to show her I didn't die when I touched it. The other thing I can do, because it's flapping over here, is I can walk behind it. He's very confused. What's this? You being weird about the tree over there too? I saw you skirt around it. What was that? Okay, bye. This isn't usually how I do cat introductions, but my cat got left out here this morning when they did stuff, so this is what she thinks of a cat. She's a little nervous of him when she saw him inside. Right now she's very curious, but she can also tell that he does not want her nearby. She is seeing that he's puffing up and he's saying, hey, let's not do that. She's very curious, but also being perfectly cautious. Alright, I'm gonna go move him inside now. Doing a little walking training outside. I forgot my mic, but hopefully you can hear all right. So all we're doing is, one, if she pulls, she does not get to go any closer to whatever it is she wants. Never, ever. I don't care what she wants. I don't care why she wants it. If she's pulling, unless she's absolutely going to hurt herself, or there are a few other very minor circumstances that I don't think will be the case for her, pretty much the answer is my feet stay put. But she pulls, she does not get to move forward. Yes. Every once in a while I will reward her for releasing tension, but I don't want her to expect a reward for releasing tension because I don't want her to keep pulling. Usually the reward is yes, that she gets to actually go towards whatever it is she wanted to smell. But we were starting to work for a minute on being a team when we walk. So even when she's not in a heel, I want her to still have an idea that we're on a walk together. And part of that is if we're walking together, even if she's not in a heel, if I stop, yes, she should stop. And we did that about 4 or 5 times already. Good girl, where's your foot? There we go. Let's do that again. So she does not get towards what she wants. If I stop, see, that's not good, so I'm not going to reward it. And that's all we're going to do. If she does, she gets a reward. If she doesn't, nothing. Yes! It was pretty decent. Wasn't great. We'll get there. Let's do it again. Yes! That was beautiful. Even she was ahead of me and she still noticed that I stopped. Good girl. Ready to go inside? Let's do it. Alright. We're going to try something new today. For you, not for her. Let me make sure my mic's on. Cool. Alright. These are the 3 things that help you set up impulse control in dogs. And that's what we're about to work on with her, but I want you, by the end of the board and train, to be able to recite me these 3 words. I'm going to repeat them 1,000 times. So you'll hear them a ton. But these are the three: duration, distance, distraction. Duration, distance, distraction. How long can she stay there? That's the very first thing we want to work on. If I ask her to place, she has to be able to stay for half a second if I want to be able to take a step back. Then a little bit of distance. Typically I start with just a little bit, starting with a couple feet. Look how smart she is. She's like, I'm already ready to work. You're not in a command, cutie pie. Yes, I will praise her for being on there because that's just really nice. Most of the time we're not giving out freebies, and just because I rewarded her on that spot does not mean she's in a command, as you can see. If you do not ask her for it, it does not count. If she's on there and then I ask her to place, that would work. Hi. But duration, distance, distraction. So how long can you stay there? How far away can you go? And then what else can be going on around you and have her still stay put? And you'll see us work through those three, with distractions being kind of the most important. Duration and distance are the easiest ones for you to work on. They're also quite particular to the person, where a lot of people aren't going to be having their dog stay in command for a really long time. So we'll work for a couple minutes, but I typically don't work up to a 30, 40-minute place with dogs during the board and train. I can, but most people aren't going to utilize that. So I'd rather spend the time on more important things like making sure the fine-tuning on the command and making sure she can do it everywhere than making sure she can do it for that long. Same thing with distance. I want to make sure she's got a great distance. With me, what she'll do is I'll have her on one side of the yard, and you saw how big my yard is. We'll walk to the other side of the yard. She should be able to do that easily, but past that, most people don't need that. So distractions are the most important thing that we're going to work on. Ophelia, place. That was a little bit of a distraction because I kicked the ball, and it's... Yes. And there was another one that's super important. I gave her time to think. I gave her time to make the right choice. I asked her for the command, but I didn't rush her into it. I let her think. So we've been doing up to about 2 steps. Yes. The other thing you'll notice here is where I'm paying her. I am not waiting until I'm back here to ask her to come to me or release her and reward her over here, because that creates a dog who wants to leave the command. Yes, I want a dog who wants to stay in command, because as long as she stays there, she knows she's going to get paid. That payment will vary. Perfect example. So this is her first time making a mistake. How beautiful. And that's all we're doing. We're saying that was the wrong choice. We're going to finish it. And then she's not getting rewarded for that part. Break. Good job. When you mess up at work, they usually just make you finish the job. They don't make you pay a gigantic fee. They don't tell you you're doing great for finishing the job that you were already supposed to have finished. You just say, hey, just get it done. Maybe there's a consequence if you do it too many times, but that's getting beyond the metaphor. Ophi, place. Again, I'm going to give her time to think. Yes. Later in training, we can work on speeding that up. Good girl. Yes. Good. Yes. But like I was saying, Later on, we can work on speeding those commands up and making sure that they're lickety-split when you need them to be, but for the most part, while we're learning, we're practicing one thing at a time, and right now the focus is her getting into the right command in the first place. Speed is a precision thing, and that is less important right now for what we're working on. We're not working with police canines. We're not working with service dogs. We don't need to be perfect from the get-go. We've done it on one other spot in the kennel room. You saw that plastic crate that I've got in there that's just the bottom half. We worked on a place in there yesterday to help her settle in, but one we haven't worked on is having her on the couch. So we talked about 4 stages to learning a command. The acquisition, where she learns what we want her to do in the first place. The automation, where she can do it on command 9 out of 10 times. The next phase is generalization. That's where the 3Ds come in: duration, distance, distraction. That's also where she learns different pictures of the exact same thing. So she learns that place means go over here. It also means, Ophi, place, to go over here. You can see her think, but you know what I'm not doing? I'm not saying the word again. I've got my hand here to show her. Yes! Beautiful. Break! The more different pictures we show her, the more settings she can do it in. Good job. This will be a really fun one for her for confidence building, especially since she's a little bit nervous about different surfaces. Having her place on different surfaces builds confidence in 2 ways. One, falling over. One, it builds confidence in herself, that when she gets onto an object, she's going to be able to balance, she's not going to fall off. It gives her that practice of getting up onto places. But the other thing it does is it builds confidence in you, that you're not going to put her on anything that's dangerous. And that's all we're doing right now with that, is I'm just interrupting her when she's making choices. So it builds confidence in you that you're not going to put her on anything dangerous, that, Ophi, come. Yes! Which means when you ask her to go on something, she's far more likely to say, yeah, you haven't done me wrong in the past. I think I can do that. I love that she keeps going back on there. So we'll move on to the next little bit of what we wanted to work on today. I'm just talking to you as I film our afternoon session, so we're just going about working on a ton of different things. So let's show you some of the other things we've been working on. The other one we've been working on intermittently is luring her into a DOWN. Yes! Break! Good girl. Yes! Break. We'll probably add the word for that here in a minute. Yes! Break. Good girl. But first, I'll show you what her heel is looking like. We haven't added the word. That'll be a little bit before we actually add the word. But I'm guiding her around. So she starts on my right side. Heel only starts from this position. If that means sit, then I have to walk around to her side. Yes. Then that is okay. And right now it's me having my hand in front of her. And we'll move, stop. Yes. and my hand goes up above her head a little bit, and she automatically stops with me. There we go. Yes. So we're using that physical movement to kind of guide her around, and I'm focusing a lot on those outer turns, but here's an inside turn too. She's a little awkward on that one. Whoop. I'm a little awkward on that one, goodness. Let's do it again. Yes. Break. That's what that's looking like. She's getting really good at changing pace with me. We're probably going to add the word here in a little bit. I like waiting a little extra on the heel because I want to make sure they really understand what we're doing. So here's a pace change. We can go fast. Yes. We'll go slow. Really, really slow, like I'm an old lady. Can't walk very fast. I am terrible at walking slow. I love walking at dogs' paces. Yes. I am a let's get from point A to point B kind of person when I walk most of the time. Yes. Break. Unless I'm looking at scenery. But usually the dogs would rather smell the scenery than look at it, so. So let's show you what recall practice looks like when we're doing it properly. We need a long line. And a cute dog. Look, I found one. Yeah. She said, what is this thing? Why are you biting it? Okay. So, in this case, what I'll use to give her a distraction is this totally sealed container of treats. And I'll place that so you can see a little bit. Ophi, come. Yes. The leash makes it so that even if she is making the right choice, if or when she doesn't, I have the ability to say, hey, nope, I'm going to hold you accountable. So now she can go back to smelling that. Even put a treat on there for her. Whoop, and then not get tangled on a leash. Go get it. You smell it? You smell it? Look. Sometimes recall practice comes a little slowly when we start working inside. Ophi, come. Yes. So the other thing I like to try and practice is that she also just responds to her name with giving you attention. The come can be a separate cue, but in case of an emergency, how likely are you to just say the word come? You're going to say, Ophelia, come, if she's bolting off somewhere, and then you've said the first word, and if it's not something important to her, she may have tuned out by then. And in that scenario, we want to make that word important enough that she hears the second one. That's also the benefit of just training in general and having an e-collar and all of that fun stuff. But the point of training is not to need the tools. So if we can do the training correctly, then you actually don't need to rely on the e-collar. It's there as a backup, and that's what it's supposed to be. Is it shouldn't be what you need, it should be what you can use if you have to. Toss a treat over there. Oop. Good girl. Yes. You're just doing good looking at me. Alright, we'll have to work more on recall training when she's actually distracted by something. Because she gets the basic concept already. You're a sweet girl. Yeah. I'll show you what she looks like at the end of the day. We are working on some distraction. So this is what she's looking like at the end of the day. We've got the leash on in case she makes a mistake. Then it's a whole lot easier to be able to correct her back. But for the most part, I shouldn't need to use it in theory. Ophi, place. Yes. Beautiful. And what you can't see from there is while she is looking at me, she is also staring at me. She is making eye contact quite heavily. We've been doing some distance. I can walk all the way over to the couch and touch it. Yes! But let's show you what a reasonable distraction looks like right now and what a little bit too much looks like. Something reasonable. I can walk sideways. I can turn my back for half a second. Yes! Those are all things that don't distract her a whole lot. So let's show you one that's a little bit too hard and then how we work through it. Did this one once a minute ago. Yes! Oh, she proved me wrong. All I had to say was you were going to mess up, and she's like, psh, I'm better than that, lady. Let's see if we can do it a second time. Beautiful. Yes! I'm always coming back to her to reward. That was beautiful. All right, let's try something different. Let's see what I can do to get her to make a mistake. Let's try sitting on the floor. And I'm not going to guide her back on. I'm just going to use a little bit of leash pressure. And again, I'm not moving her. She's staying right there, but I do have tension on the leash in this direction. But she's still ultimately making the actual choice. Come around this way a little bit. It's totally covering. There we go. She sat on the leash and stood back up. Sit. So I'll just help her out by asking her for it, because that was a weird one. We give grace in weird situations. There's always that fine line of figuring out when it's the right time to give them grace and when it's the right time to hold a boundary. It's usually related to practice. Let's see. Oh, she paused. This is a weird position for her to move from. So I'll let her step off and then kind of stuck. she's not getting what she wants, which is to get to me because I'm laying down. Awkward positions are so much fun. Here. Whoop. You're all tangled, Munchkin. There you go. So you can see all she wants is to get over here. These are the reps that matter the most. That and the really successful ones. She's been munching on the leash because the leash is standing in the way of her doing what she wants. So what I'm not going to do right now is try the same thing again because that was hard for her, but I'm also not going to immediately release her. So we're going to count. Sit. One, 2, 4, 5. Break. So no rewards after the correction, but I'm also going to give her a minute, let her process for a second, let her go do something else. That was difficult. Oh, you found a snack that was hiding under there? Good job. Hi. Hi. And try again? What do you think? So this time we'll give it a go from down here. So here's another version of generalizing. Generalizing is all about different pictures. So me being standing, seated, somebody else asking are all different versions of generalizing. If I ask from here, if I ask from laying down, those are all different pictures that are going to take her more time to figure out. So nothing in my hands except a leash. Ophi, place. Give her a couple seconds to think. When she sits down instead, that tells me she's made her decision. I'm going to add a little leash pressure again. Sit. Break. So there's the question right there. Do you reward that or not? Because she made the right choice at the end. It required that I helped her there, but she made the right choice. So how do you determine when to reward them for that and when not to? If they are struggling really hard, like that's a really difficult rep, and you need them to know that working through it is a good thing, that they'll get some kind of a benefit for doing it even when they're really tired. Sometimes a reward then can help, but in general, I don't want to reward a performance that I don't want to see later. So it took her a while. I had to convince her. so I'm not going to reward her for it. You've already been braked. You're just chilling. So now she's wondering, why did I not get a reward? I want to get her thinking. I want to get her figuring out, why didn't I get a reward this time? A thinking dog is a dog that is better behaved across the board. A dog that assesses the situation and decides how to respond. Sometimes those can become evil geniuses too, but thinking is better than just reacting. You gonna take a nap there now? So sweet. You wanna do one more? Come on. Let's do one more. And edit our video. Ready? Ophi, place. So in this case, the reinforcement of the behavior is actually the decrease of leash pressure, where it's actually negative reinforcement. The pressure goes away and gets her to do that more often, which is get onto the cot. That's the behavior that's being reinforced. So the negative reinforcement also helps, but they much prefer, yes, positive reinforcement for when they've made the right choice. It's a healthy balance of both. Break. Break. Okay, I lied. We're going to do one more. Because now that I've rewarded her once in command, I want to see how much faster she gets this one. Ophi, place. Nope. I think she's also a little bit bored of this. Good. Good. Break. Break. Yeah. All right. We will call that a session.